Hello friends. So in our theme of hugging into the midline the past couple of weeks, hugging the outer hips in, we're gonna actually come down. I've only got like 5 minutes, man. I can't do yoga in 5 minutes, right? Yeah, let's do a couple of things. So come on down onto your belly. And if you don't have a mat, hopefully you have like just a carpet you're comfortable being on or what have you. I'm gonna turn this way so I'm closer to my mic when I turn to camera. Hands next to low floating ribs. And go ahead and bring those wrists underneath your elbows-ish. So they're further back than what we're used to. And we've been talking about neutral leg rotation. So make sure your inner groin are moving up, right? You're finding that position, the feet down, the pinky toe is heavy, the tailbone down, the low belly up. And then to come up today, I'd like you to move your elbows into each other. Just a different way to work low cobra, right? So I'm not pressing down into my hands. I'm moving my elbows together. It's igniting or contracting the muscles of my upper back, which lifts me into this upper back bend. Find the neck and see if you can get the neck in line with the rest of the spine. Take a breath there and come on down. We're going to come right up again, so don't move your hands. But again, try to find neutral rotation of the legs. Push the feet down, the thighs lift, including the inner groin, pinky toes heavy. Tailbone down, low belly up. Move your elbows in to lift your upper body. And if your back says it's okay, your low back particularly, lift your feet a little bit, not too much. And get longer still. Reach your big toes back behind you as you reach your crown of your head forward. Move, hug into the midline, the elbows. Your frontal hip points on the front side of the body. Hug the frontal hip points towards one another, right? Hug your outer hips in. And exhale down. Bring your hands in a crocodile. Rest down for just a moment. So, depending on where you're at in your body, you can do that again. If you'd like just a little more challenge in learning that hugging in a little deeper, move your legs together till your ball mounds of your big toes touch. Don't worry about the heels. The heels will be a little separate. Bring your hands back so your wrists underneath your elbows, same position we were just in. Same idea, but now we're adding a complexity and a little more work, right? So hug your outer ankles, your outer shins, your outer thighs, your outer hips, your outer waist, and your frontal hip points on the front side of the body. Move them into each other, right? Now keep the feet on the ground. Move the elbows in and find that upper body work, right? So we're in low cobra, our feet are on the ground, but we are zipping everything into the midline, not from squeezing our inner bum. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the other video where I talk about trying to find neutral rotation and find activation on the front side. So the frontal hip points moving in towards each other, so you're finding equanimity on the front and back sides, and you're not just compressing and compromising the low back here. And come on down for just a quick rest, but leave your hands where they are, right? Leave your legs together. So again, zip your legs up, feet down, thighs up, turn the inner groin on, make sure they're rotating up so the pinky toes stay heavy. Tailbone down, low belly up, elbows in. Here's low cobra, you can stay here. Maybe the legs lift. And now from this lifted position, again, I want you to hug into the midline, but not just the back side. If you're just squishing the inner bum together, that's only hugging the back side. There's no equanimity. Find your frontal hip points, the as-is bones, hug them to each other. Keep the inner groin rotating up so the legs stay in neutral rotation. Hug the elbows in, hug the outer hips, the outer waist, the as-is bones, the thighs, the shins, the ankles. Come on down. Stack your hands in crocodile. Let your feet go wider than the hips. Pause. Take 2 breaths and use those inhales to try to expand the low back. Maybe sigh. That's evidently what I wanted. And then from there, bend your knees. Feet go, they're just facing the ceiling. And then let your shins both go over to the right and back to center and to the left. So it's like windshield wiper from our belly. Do that a couple of times. Now, if that feels like too much to do without warm up in your body, I would say don't lift as far, and that would probably take care of a decent amount of that, right? But also, then, maybe do a couple of sun salutations or just a little stretching before you come into this action, right? And then bring your feet down, bring them into hip distance. Bring your hands next to your low floating ribs. Pull the belly in to push back and take a child's pose. Let's just take a couple of breaths here before we end the practice, because the spine would probably really love the flexion, right, of coming into child's pose. You could always lay on your back and just hug the knees in and hug them wide, right? Especially if you have anything going on in knees or ankles, etc. Maybe sway your hips just a little bit from right to left. Coming back to center, go ahead and push the floor away. You can either stay on your knees, bringing the knees in and sit on the heels. You can put a block between your heels and sit up nice and tall. Or you could come into cross-legged. We won't be here for long, just for a moment, right? So something you can hold for just a moment. Long spine, noticing where your body's at, having just done just a few minutes of becoming more embodied. Hands together in front of the chest, inhale. As you bow your head in, just taking a moment of gratitude here. Namaste. Be well, friends, and thanks for joining me for a quick little practice.